Money can't buy happiness, but apparently it can buy you a one-way ticket to disaster. We've all fantasized about hitting the lottery jackpot, quitting our jobs, buying that dream house, and living like royalty. But what if I told you that winning millions might actually be the worst thing that could happen to you? Buckle up, because today we're diving into the wild, tragic, and downright ridiculous stories of 7 American lottery winners who managed to turn their golden tickets into absolute nightmares. Some got robbed, some got addicted, and one guy literally became a bank robber after losing everything. It's like a masterclass in how not to handle sudden wealth. And trust me, it's more entertaining than any reality show you've ever watched. Before we dive into these incredible tales of financial self-destruction, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Because if these stories teach us anything, it's that you never know when your luck might change. Number 1. Jack Whittaker. Picture this: Christmas morning 2002, and Jack Whittaker just became $314 million richer overnight. Sounds like a fairy tale, right? Well, buckle up, because this story takes a dark turn faster than you can say, jackpot. Jack wasn't your typical broke dreamer buying lottery tickets with grocery money. This guy was already loaded. A construction mogul worth $17 million who casually dropped $100 on Powerball tickets just because the prize was huge. When those numbers hit, he walked away with $113 million after taxes, making headlines as the EU biggest single-ticket winner ever. But here's where things get wild. Within months, Jack was getting robbed left and right. $545,000 stolen from his car at a strip club. Then another $200,000 vanished from his vehicle. The man was basically a walking ATM with a target on his back. Between DUI arrests, bounced million-dollar checks at casinos, and family tragedies that would break anyone's heart, Jack's fortune became his curse. The kicker? His house burned down in 2016, completely uninsured. The guy who once had everything lost it all, and he's gone on record saying he wished he'd never bought that ticket. Talk about buyer's remorse on steroids. Number 2. Abraham Shakespeare. Abraham Shakespeare was just a truck driver's assistant living paycheck to paycheck when he hit the $30 million jackpot in 2006. After taxes, he walked away with $17 million and thought his troubles were over. Boy, was he wrong. The money turned Abraham into everyone's favorite ATM. Friends, family, and complete strangers lined up with sob stories. And being the generous guy he was, he couldn't say no. He paid off mortgages, covered medical bills, and basically became a one-man charity operation. But all that kindness made him a target for the ultimate predator. Enter D.D. Moore, a smooth-talking con artist who showed up claiming she wanted to write his life story. Within months, she'd wormed her way into controlling his finances through a bogus company she created. While Abraham trusted her completely, D.D. was systematically stealing everything he had. When Abraham started asking questions about his missing money, he mysteriously decided to disappear in April 2009. D.D. kept sending texts to his family, saying he was fine and just wanted privacy. There was just one problem. Abraham couldn't read or write. Those texts were basically signed confessions. The jig was up when cops found Abraham's body buried under concrete in someone's backyard, shot twice in the chest. D.D. got life in prison, and Abraham's lottery dream became the ultimate nightmare. Number 3. William Budd. Bud Post was down to his last $2.46 when he pawned a ring for $40 to buy lottery tickets in 1988. That desperate gamble paid off big. Time, $16.2 million big. But if you think this story has a happy ending, you clearly haven't been paying attention to this series. Within 2 weeks of winning, Bud had blown through $300,000 like it was Monopoly money. He bought his brothers a restaurant in Florida, purchased a used car lot for another sibling, and somehow thought buying a twin-engine plane without a pilot's license was a solid investment. By month 3, he was already $500,000 in debt. Classic move, Bud. But wait, it gets worse. His own brother tried to have him assassinated to inherit the fortune. His ex-landlady sued him for a third of his winnings, claiming they had a deal. And he ended up shooting at his 6th wife's car with a shotgun. Yeah, 6th wife. The guy collected marriages like baseball cards. By 1996, Bud was so broke, he had to auction off his remaining lottery payments for $2.65 million. Did he learn his lesson? Nope. He bought boats, Harleys, and giant TVs, burning through it all in under a year. The man who once had millions died in 2006, living on $450 a month and food stamps. Talk about coming full circle. Number 4. Evelyn Adams. What are the odds of winning the lottery twice? About 1 in 17 trillion. What are the odds of blowing 5.3 million and ending up in a trailer park? Apparently, pretty good if you're Evelyn Adams. Back in the mid-'80s, Evelyn was just a convenience store clerk in New Jersey when she hit the jackpot for $3.9 million. Most people would call it quits there, but not Evelyn. 4 months later, she struck gold again with another $1.4 million win. The woman was basically a walking statistical miracle. So what does someone do with $5.3 million and the luck of the gods? Well, if you're Evelyn, you develop a serious gambling addiction and start treating Atlantic City casinos like your personal piggy bank. She went from spending $25 a week on lottery tickets to $100, then graduated to feeding slot machines by the thousands. She bought the convenience store where she worked, made terrible business investments, and loaned money to friends and family who conveniently forgot to pay her back. By 2012, the woman who defied impossible odds twice was living in a trailer park, completely broke. Evelyn's own words sum it up perfectly. "I won the American dream, but I also lost it. It's called rock bottom." Sometimes the house always wins, even when you're the house. Number 5. Jeffrey Dampier. Jeffrey Dampier hit the $20 million jackpot in 1996 and decided to spread the wealth around his new family. After divorcing his first wife and marrying Crystal Jackson, he moved to Florida and brought Crystal's sisters along for the ride, bankrolling their lives like a personal ATM. Jeffrey was living the generous millionaire dream. He bought cars, houses, and even started a gourmet popcorn business. But here's where things get messy. He started having an affair with his sister-in-law, Victoria. Yeah, keeping it classy, Jeffrey. When the honeymoon phase wore off, Jeffrey began cutting back on Victoria's allowance. Big mistake. Hell hath no fury like a sister-in-law whose sugar daddy is tightening the purse strings. On July 26, 2005, Victoria and her boyfriend Nathaniel lured Jeffrey to her apartment, claiming she needed help with her car. Instead of a broken engine, Jeffrey found himself tied up and stuffed into his own van. The plan was simple: kidnap him for more money. But when Nathaniel handed Victoria a shotgun and told her to pull the trigger, she didn't hesitate. One shot to the back of the head, and Jeffrey's generosity was permanently over. Victoria got 3 consecutive life sentences, proving that sometimes the people closest to you are the most dangerous. Money really can't buy you love or loyalty. Number 6. David Lee Edwards. David Edwards was down to his last 3 unemployment checks when he spent $7 on Powerball tickets in 2001. That desperate gamble netted him $27 million after taxes. Not bad for a guy with a criminal record who just spent a decade in prison for armed robbery. David promised he'd be smart with the money, but apparently his definition of smart was buying a $1.6 million mansion in Palm Beach, a fleet of supercars including a Lamborghini and Dodge Viper, plus a private jet, all within 3 months. By year 1, he'd already burned through $12 million like it was pocket change. Things went downhill fast when David and his wife Shauna discovered drugs. Suddenly, their million-dollar lifestyle turned into a nightmare of arrests, lawsuits, and spiraling addiction. The mansion, gone. The cars, repossessed. The private jet, probably sold for drug money. The final chapter of David's story is heartbreaking. He and Shauna ended up living in a storage unit that was literally infested with human waste. Not exactly the Florida dream life he'd envisioned. David died broke and alone in a Kentucky hospice in 2013, just 5 years after hitting the jackpot. From $27 million to zero in half a decade, that's got to be some kind of record nobody wants to hold. Number 7. James Allen Hayes. James Hayes was pulling night shifts as a security guard when he hit the $19 million Super Lotto jackpot in 1998. After taxes and splitting with his ex-wife, he pocketed around $6 million and swore he'd be responsible with it. Spoiler alert, he wasn't. The money disappeared faster than his good intentions. Luxury cars, expensive real estate, and high-roller trips to Vegas became his new normal. But the real money killer was his $1,000 a week heroin habit that turned his windfall into a death spiral. By 2007, Hayes was bankrupt and living the exact opposite of his lottery winner dreams. But here's where the story gets really wild. Instead of getting clean and starting over, Hayes decided to become a serial bank robber. In 2017, the former millionaire started hitting banks across Southern California, earning nicknames like the Seasoned Bandit for his gray hair and PT Cruiser Bandit for his choice of getaway car. Picture this: a broke ex-lottery winner cruising around in a gold Chrysler, robbing banks one note at a time. Hayes managed to steal about $40,000 from 11 different banks before getting caught living in a storage garage. The judge gave him 33 months in federal prison, proving that sometimes the house always wins, even when you rob it. From $6 million to federal prison in less than 20 years. That's quite the career trajectory. And there you have it. 7 lottery. Winners who turned millions into mayhem faster than you can say, "I quit my job." From getting shot by family members to robbing banks in a PT Cruiser, these folks proved that money really can't buy common sense. I'm starting to think the real lottery curse isn't losing the money. It's winning it in the first place. At least when you're broke, your biggest enemy is your empty wallet, not your homicidal sister-in-law or your drug dealer. So next time you see those lottery tickets calling your name, maybe just buy a Snickers instead. At least that guaranteed. Happiness lasts longer than these jackpots did. If you enjoyed these spectacular financial faceplants, smash that subscribe button because we've got tons more stories of people making hilariously terrible decisions with life-changing money.